Hi everyone, Julie is here. I'm glad to see you on my channel here for this Afrusian. And I think that today's video will be why do the Irish speak English? So let's begin. I hear this question often when I talk about Ireland, and also often I get something like this. Strangely, for very lazy, the answer to the question, everything depends on the official history. And if you're ready to listen further, then you will find non-lazy narrative of detailed answer. The fact that Irish speak English is a consequence of 800 years domination of the so-called Old Britons, which include the Normans, the English, the Welsh, many of whom assimilated and became ancestors of the Irish families, the Burke, Fitzwilliam, Fitzpatrick, and etc. At the same time, for the more deeper penetration language into the masses, the Britons used now fashionable word zeroing, by zeroing population of the island during the wars. In order to subsequently massively populate the Irish with immigrants from Britain, from which it follows that gradually there were more and more native speakers of English. Tellingly, already in the ancient time, they justified their deeds by saying that conquered Irish were just savages who had recently climbed down from the trees.
It's nothing that these savages had previously converted to Christianity, were engaged in missionary activities among the Anglo-Saxons and created a very serious literary tradition. The main thing is to declare a neighbor as subhuman.
Actually, there is no need to give examples because this exists in our days and in our lands. The slogan divide and rule has done its job influencing the zombification of parts of the population around the world.
However, despite all attempts to speed up the process, English became the language of the majority only in the 1940s. 19th century, then there was a big crop failure in Ireland, and as a result, the Great Famine. Surprisingly, for some reason, it was during this period that the British authorities quickly curtailed the state aid program. It was already small and was directed primarily to the British and Irish Protestants living in Ireland. As a result, all the 8 million inhabitants of the island did not fit into the vision of the British, dying from hunger and epidemics or emigrating to the United States and British colonies. Still, in all of Ireland, including 6 counties belonging to Great Britain, fewer people lived than in the middle of the 19th century.
They completed the destruction of the native language of the Irish by introducing compulsory education in English and banning Irish in schools. And this was possible because at the beginning of the 19th century, there was no strict education in Ireland. The children were taught by Irish Catholics and all the texts were written in English.
In 1831, the British authorities carried out a reform, after which a network of national schools appeared, where children were punished for using Irish words. Until the 20th century, Irish was banned and later became a kind of symbol of the struggle for independence, since almost 90% of the population spoke only English. After Ireland became an independent state, the Irish language was introduced into the compulsory school curriculum of schools and colleges. At the same time, English, Hiberna English, from the Latin name of the Emerald Ale, Hiberna, still remains the main one. But already with the independence of Ireland in 1922, the Irish language finally received the status of the state language, and its study in schools became mandatory. Knowledge of this has also become necessary for promotion in state institutions. In independent Ireland, the language has been given comprehensive support, but the number of places where it's still spoken as a native language, the so-called Gaeltacht, is small.
But despite all this action, the Irish still speak English. Yes, it's happened thanks to propaganda images that English become associated with the wealthy businessmen and the bourgeoisie, and the local language remained untouched only in small villages. With each new generation, the number of Irish-speaking people decreases. If the family itself does not cherish the tradition and do not pass on the foundation. But nevertheless, the Irish language is alive and, importantly, constantly afford local English. Scientifically, this is called Irish substratum. It means original dialect. By the way, subscribe to my channel, mark the bell in order not to miss new release, and push the button if you like this video.
At the same time, a pebble in the garden are those countries where the locals are multilingual and the language of some of the locals is denied. In Ireland, there are two official languages. Inscriptions on signboards and road signs are everywhere in two languages. First on the list is Irish, Gaelic branch, Celtic group, Indo-European family, but in fact, out of 3.5 million people, about 100,000 own it. The second is English, the language of the majority. By the way, you can find out what languages the Irish are learning by watching a video about what foreign languages the English-speaking public living in Ireland is studying.
Of course, English is in the lead, but it differs significantly from the British version or from the American one. This difference appeared a long time. The language is slowly being unified within the country. That's why local features still baffle tourists and migrants that it takes time to get used to. And of course, the advantage is that various languages resources allow you to restore interest to today's unpopular languages. Well, I say so much, but we got a lot of stuff to talk about. See you in a thematic video.